So basically it's all on the line.
There's a lot of pressure for both teams.
My whole career is on stake now.
It's a one-way opportunity to get into LCS.
A lot of damage coming in from Nocturne, but gets exhausted, has to jump back. Grizzlin with the Q, doesn't hit it.
Oh, the
binding, he's got no health. First blood goes to Freeze.
Sinks his teeth in towards one, gets on towards Tabs, gets the reset. Millennium turning this game on his head.
Best of 5 and it's about your future.
It's such an important game that means everything.
I'm really motivated to win and pressing really hard to succeed.
It's basically your job and your life you're playing about.
I've been waiting to try my best and win our way to LCS.
Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to the European League of Legends Championship Series Summer Promotion Tournament, coming to you live from our studios in Cologne, Germany. I'm Joe Miller along with Martin Deficio-Lunga, and this week 3 teams will fight to hold on to their LCS spots, while 3 challenger teams will try and battle their way in.
And with the upcoming Summer Split at stake, there's a lot on the line for each of these teams, so we should expect a lot of action this week.
But before we get onto the games, let's catch up on some news from around the world. Last week in Europe, Fnatic, of course, beat SK Gaming 3-1 to become the Spring Split champions, which continues their trend of collecting split titles here in the LCS.
And in the North American playoffs, Cloud9 beat Team Solo Mid with a 3-0 sweep to take the Spring Championship. Both Fnatic and Cloud9 will head to the All-Star Invitational beginning on May 8th, where they will compete against SKT1 from Korea, Taipei Assassins from Southeast Asia, and of course China's OMG.
And the All-Star Challenge teams have also been decided for the event. We now know who is on which team, along with the team names. Team Ice will be captained by Alliance's Froggen and will feature CLG's Double Lift from North America, CJ Enters Frost's Madlife from Korea, Team WE's Salmei from China, and the Saigon Jokers Archie from Southeast Asia.
And then we have Team Fire, and they will have Gambit's Diamond as the team captain, along with Team Solomate's Bjergsen from North America. We have Shai from CJ Enters Frost from Korea, and then we have Team WE's Wei Xiao from China, and the Saigon Jokers QTV from Southeast Asia.
And last week you guys voted for the 2 former pros to join the teams for a special Hexakill challenge game. With the top votes, Messiah will join Team Ice and Toys will join Team Fire. But let's turn our attention back to the European Summer Promotion Tournament. The 3 teams that finished the Spring Challenger Series with the most points will face the 3 LCS teams who face in 6th, 7th and 8th place. During each best of 5 series this week, the winning team will move into the LCS and will compete during the Summer Split, and the losing team will head into the Summer Challenger Series and will be guaranteed a spot in the first Summer Challenger Series quarterfinals.
And we'll begin things today with Millennium facing Ninjas in Pyjamas, and on Friday, Super Hot Crew will play Cloud9 Eclipse, while the Copenhagen Wolves will go up against Denial.
And the 3 challenger teams bring some new faces with them, which means you have a mixture of familiar and unfamiliar players to watch this week. First up is Cottonex. Millennium's recent jungle swap has had a mixed impact on the team and really needs to have a good week to help keep the team in the LCS. Next up is NukeDuck. He's already been hailed as one of the top mid laners in Europe and will need to be on top form if NIP are to win back their spot in the EU LCS.
And then we have Mr. Rallis, the backbone to Super Hot Crew's play, will have to be extra firm in his do or die best out of 5 match to keep the LCS slot. With the most kills on his team, expect Mr. Rallis to be doing a lot of that, or else you will see him in the Challenger Series. Centurion is the next player to watch. He was not part of the original qualifying Cloud9 Eclipse team. Centurion, though, he steps in to replace former jungler Ko due to being too young for the LCS. Can he then fill the massive void the carry junglers left? We will see. And speaking of carry junglers, you can't forget about 2-time MVP Amazing from the Copenhagen Wolves. He's been a key factor to Copenhagen Wolves' success this split, and he'll have to keep going through the promotion tournament like we've seen him all season long.
And don't forget, you guys can find the stats for all of these players and their teams, along with recaps, VODs, and much more over at lolesports.com. You can also find the schedule where you can choose who you think will win today's games.
Just click your team of choice and hit submit, and we'll check in before each series to see who you think has the edge. And while you're voting, you can also submit your pick for a champion that will play on both teams during an All-Star Challenge Earth game in Paris.
Yeah, the Fire and Ice Challenge teams will face off in the Ultra Rapid Fire mode on May the 8th, the first day of the All-Star Challenge event, and your vote will decide which champion will have to be played by both teams. You'll find a full list of the available choices at vote.lolesports.com, along with a list of the banned champions. And sadly, it looks like we won't be seeing two Shens.
However, Heimerdinger is open, and I sure would love to see two Dongers in action.
I bet you would.
But while you are on their website, or while you're on the website, you can grab a seat and join us here tomorrow for the second half of the summer promotion tournament. Just click the tickets link for all of the details.
And we'd also like to summon you to Twitter, where you can tell us which of the teams in the summer promotion tournament do you think will perform the best in the next LCS split, and why?
Honestly, looking at the teams we have here, I think it's so hard to predict even who's going to go into the LCS. We have so many close matches just today. NRP, Millennium. NRP, a lot of people saying their favorites. I'm not too sure. Millennium have been looking actually strong here in the end. But of course, we would love to hear what you guys think at home. So send your answers to @LOLesports with the hashtag LCS. We'll pick our favorites, and then Shox will read them later in the show.
So let's head over to Shox and Demon, who are standing by with our special guest analyst for the day.
Thank you very much, Joe. I'm Eve Shox supporter along with Lee D-Man Smith, and we are joined by Counterlogic Gaming's Dexter, who will be providing us with analysis throughout the games today. Thank you very much for joining us. We will talk about the games in just a second, but of course I want to touch on what we've heard about Counterlogic Gaming just last night, breaking news that Nyen will be stepping down. What are your general thoughts about that?
I knew it like 5 minutes before I leave for a flight, and I was like, okay, is it really true that you leave the team? Because we actually wanted him to stay, and we didn't give him blame for any loss or something, and he didn't really deserve it from the community, which I think. And yeah, but he had like personal problems too, which I had no idea of. I was like, okay, maybe he's doing fine, but he didn't really talk to us about the whole Reddit thing, and it got out of hand really quickly. And then he realized, okay, it's better for you and better for me to just like 2 months off, and then maybe I can come back. But yeah, he needs a break, and he decided to step down. So.
And of course, talking about the matches, the TSM game, you guys started up, went 1-0. How did it go really overall? I mean, obviously you managed to finish third place overall, but that was really the game that obviously you guys, the CLG TSM, it's the classic.
Yeah, going into the game, we knew that we were better. Like, flat out, we knew that we were better and we can beat them. First game went perfect. Like, we didn't do any mistakes. Communication was on point. We executed our picks really well. And we had really good coordination. And then, going to the second game, we had like a really big lead in early game with a late game composition. And then the hook on Link happened, and bot lane died too. And then after that, the communication went down. Like, we completely shut down. We didn't do anything, and it was pretty bad. Like, in terms of communication, we couldn't really execute our strategy properly anymore. And the communication just went down, and we tilted kind of. So yeah. And then game 3, it was like, everyone was super shocked, and we didn't expect to lose. Like, we were already like celebrating, and I was thinking, like, man, we 2-0 them, and yeah, but
overconfidence.
Overconfidence, like. And then game 3 was, yeah, we lost it in champion selection because we hadn't talked about the game at all. We came out of game 2 and were like, okay, what are we doing? Like, no one had a clue. No one wanted to talk, and yeah, we had no one there that actually talks to us, like mental speech or something. And yeah, we just went into the game and tried to win, and we just lost it in champion selection.
But lesson learned, and third place overall, still a very, very good result for you guys over there in North America. Let's turn our attention to here, of course, today. Millennium versus Ninjas in Pajamas for that LCS spot. Millennium, a team you know very well as you played against them in the summer split last year. Why do you think it is that we haven't seen that very good team that we've seen, especially in the beginning of the summer split last year?
I'm not sure what happened in the team, because I mean, they obviously lost their top lane, and Kerb had to switch to mid lane, but I don't think it was a big issue at all. It's more like that I think it was an internal problem in the team in terms of communication, simply because you could see that they're not very like the communication in the team isn't there, and they don't really have like a good strategy. They just go into the game hoping they can win through lanes, and yeah, they never learned how to play as a team pretty much. And maybe there was like internal problems with like people disliking each other or something, you never know, but I think that might be a problem in the team, yeah.
And obviously turning your attention to Ninjas in Pajamas, 3 players that you used to be with on the Lemon Dogs in the Season 3 World Finals. How do you rate these guys? I mean, have they got enough to get into the LCS? And really, more importantly, coming into game one, what is the important factor?
Well, I played with them, and I can tell for sure that Zoro and Nuke Duck are probably like the best lanes in Europe right now. I mean, they're really good, and they have the individual talent and everything, but it's all up to them how they perform on LAN, because I saw in the past that they haven't performed really good on LAN, and they choked, and yeah. Game one will indicate how good they prepared, and I think both teams prepared pretty well, from what I could tell and talk to them. So the priorities should be right in terms of picks and everything, but yeah, it's a mental game pretty much. Like, if they're prepared, then they have a really good chance of getting in, but it can also go completely in the other favor of Millennium, and I think game one will decide the series, actually.
So game one will be incredibly important, but I'm still going to ask you for your predictions for the series. Who will make it in the LCS, according to you, Dexter? Millennium or the Ninjas in Pajamas?
I will go with NIP, actually. I think NIP has what it takes to bring down Millennium, yeah.
All right, D-Man?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Ninjas in Pajamas as well. I've heard very good things about Millennium, how they've been practicing. I've heard they've really improved. But Ninjas in Pajamas, you can't look past them. They are a fantastic team of players.
Absolutely are. Well, we need to take a brief break, but stay tuned because we're just a few moments away from finding out if Millennium will head back to the LCS or if Ninjas in Pajamas will take their spot. We'll be right back.